Annette.
Oh, Annette is your friend? Annette, okay, good.
Hi, Dave. Dave Proetti.
Vicky, you did. There is Dave. Dave, I do not know you. Do I know you? No.
Dave's in my small group.
Okay, Dave, small group. Dave, my name is Francois. I am delighted to have you with us tonight. God bless you, dear bro. Make the most of it. It's kind of an unusual session, but I'm pretty sure that you heard a few things from Randy, so consider yourself greeted. I have somebody else I think that I do not know, I'm not sure. I have to scroll down. No, I don't think so. It's Mary D. Who is Mary D?
Yep, I'll send.
Mary.
It's me, Francois.
From Victoria, Mary? Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
I recognize your voice there. Greetings to you.
Likewise.
Who else is there? Rodney, I didn't see you coming. Did you come and by the back door, Rodney? What's going on here with you, bro?
I'm sneaky.
That's about it. Wait, which book talk about that? Creeping unnoticed, the book of Jude.
Hopefully not.
No food. Absolutely not. Carl is there too. Fred and Marilyn are coming, so that's good that we give a few minutes.
Joe
Fred.
Bacon will be coming on shortly, too.
What did you say, bro?
Joe Bacon, you'll be looking.
Joe, okay, well, I'll give a few minutes. There is no rush or whatsoever right now. I'm gonna crank up my sound a little bit here. So like I said, and I repeat, you're welcome to this special session on the Middle East conflict. I draw my Israeli flag on my right hand side, and on my left I have my famous menorah. Tonight what I would like you to do, audit it the best as you can, because I'm going to throw at you quite a bit of information about this, about the conflict, and no boring details, but mostly, beloved, scriptural from a biblical standpoint. I'm not an historian, although I studied a lot of history. You don't have a choice, so I'm a Bible expositor, and I will do my best to provide scriptures on the issue as we move on. Some of you will know because we did part of it when I taught the book of Revelation, and I have a special session on the Arab state prophetically, past, present, and future. But I will not address the future tonight. I will only address conflict that goes on in which we can relate, and all because there is no kids, unfortunately, on the screen right now. We're all kind of mature. Depending the age, I will mention things that you have witnessed in the United States, the conflict in the Middle East, and so on. I mean, those who follow the news a little bit like I do. So to begin with, in a moment, I'm going to start in prayer. Fred and Marilyn are on the screen. I don't see anybody else right now. Carl is there also. Good to see you again, Carl, tonight. Go to the book of Genesis, chapter 12, for a quick moment. We're going to take a silent time. By the way, yesterday, there's some more comers. Patricia Knight. I don't know Patricia Knight. Caroline and Duncan. Patricia, I do not know you. You are most welcome. There is two Patricias on the screen. One is Patricia K. Knight. You're most welcome, dear you. My name is Francois. Hope to enjoy the session. And I have somebody else that just Mary. Okay, Krista. One more minute. Wait, 8:05. Yesterday, by the way, before we start officially, it was the Feast of Purim. Purim means the Feast of Lots, plural, L-O-T-S, the casting of the lot. It's based upon the story of the book of Esther in your Bible, when basically Vashti and Esther came into power and there was kind of anti-Semitism going. And this is a beautiful feast to underline. Did you hear in your church last Sunday about that it was going to be the Feast of Purim yesterday in Israel? It's festivity. It's not a time of fast for them. They basically have fun. They probably don't have much. They didn't have much fun yesterday because of what's going on in the conflict and so on. So I just want you to know that this is somewhat, for me, important to underline these things and I will basically extend more as we do the study today. We have a good group of people tonight. Consider yourself be blessed. Newcomers, welcome all the time. You can join us in regular studies. You just need to tell me. Consult your friends. They can send you link to different studies. But I'm not here to sell the product tonight. I have to heart with a bit of nervousness in my soul concerning teaching these things, because for some it's going to be a bit kind of hard and difficult to understand these things and to accept some things tonight that I have to say about the Jewish nation. Silent time would be well appreciated just to settle in our soul, and I will lead in prayer, and then we carry on with the somewhat exposition, what I have to say with the passages of the scriptures. Gracious Heavenly Father, we have come together as a group like this tonight to expound on the conflict of the Middle East, Father, that you basically have ordained. It's part of your divine plans, it's part of your permissive will, and it's part also of your divine decree. You know what's going on, you know the losing of all souls, believers and unbelievers alike. So we need to recognize that you are sovereign over all these things, that you have basically decreed these things also for your glory. So Father, with a bit of nervousness in my soul, I'm asking you to guide me in the exposition. It's good to know the material, but everything is important in the way that we communicate these things as expositors or pastors or congregants and so on. At this point, Lord, I would like to commit the group in front of me to you, that they may receive what they need to receive and accept what basically suits them and so on. I thank you in advance. God bless the people. Set a guard over my mouth and bless our souls tonight. In Jesus' name we pray this. Amen. Some people, Sabkos, I do not know you. Thank you for joining us right now. Dennis, I do not know you either. I don't think I do. Consider yourself greeted and make yourself comfortable. I know you are already. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right. Like I said, last night was the Feast of Purim for me and my soul. And when I was pastoring a church, I was underlining all these festivals. But now we get into the Arab state a little bit to an extent in prophecy, and I'm going to make an attempt tonight to show you some slides later on, pictures and slides. What I would like you to know is the conflict in the Middle East that we are watching right now in Iran, Iraq, and the Jordan, and in the vicinity of the Middle East here. This is the oldest conflict of the history of mankind. Goes back about 4,000 BC or 4,000 years ago. This is the oldest conflict, the Palestinian, Israelo-Palestinian or Arab conflict that we have is the oldest. I've made some research for you to show you something later. Do you know the population in Iran? Do you know the population in Iran? In the overall territory, you have 92.9 million people in Iran. When we transfer the information in the Middle East to Iraq here, 47.9. So you need to add them right now. So 92.9 if you want 93 plus 48 million. Saudi Arabia, 35.3. Let's be happy with 35. And the Jordan, that I will show you map in a moment, basically 11.8 million people. So we have over 1 billion people, Arab states surrounding Israel to the east of them and so on. Israel proper, the people of Israel, and it does include Arab people also that lives in Israel, 10.8. So you can see 10.8 in comparison to the surrounding areas of the people of Israel, there is something to tremble. And as we will see with different idea of the conflict tonight, the ongoing conflict right now, conflicts in the past we need a divine intervention to protect the Jewish nation, and that's what God is doing all the time through what we are learning together in the book of Genesis, what we call the Abrahamic covenant. The covenant with Abraham, which is unconditional. They need to be protected because the land will belong to them in the future, and so on. So I just made that research to give you an idea of the population surrounding them. Right now I'm going to give you scriptures about what I said about the ancient or the old age of that conflict. Come with me in the book of Genesis for a quick moment. Genesis chapter 12. Genesis chapter 12 verses 10 to 20. Because that's how basically we have the setup for the conflict that is happening right now. You can make your notes. I'm going to try not to go too fast. The setting up of the conflict happening right now. Genesis chapter 12 verses 10 to 20 reads as follows. Now there was a famine in the land, so Avram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. Came about, when near to Egypt, he said to Sarah, his wife, "See now, I know that you are a beautiful woman, and when the Egyptians see, they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, and they will let you live." So we can see right now a lapse of faith on the part of Avram or Abraham. "Please say in verse 13 that you are my sisters, so that it may go well with me because of you, and that I may live on account of you." Came about, when Avram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman, which is Sarai, was very beautiful. The beautifulness is not inside. It's outside appearance. She was a beautiful lady for the age. Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. So basically what Abraham did right now caused to happen is endangering the seed line to produce the Messiah. So if something happened with Sarah, it would be dramatic. Verse 16 is important. "Therefore he treated Abraham well for her sake, gave him Abraham sheep, oxen, donkeys, male and female servants." If you read in your Bible, I would like you to circle female servants, female donkeys, and camel, and so on. You know what? I can stop right there. Abraham will be kicked out because there will be a divine intervention, but he will be kicked out with the wealth that Pharaoh is giving to Abraham right now. And the emphasis is on female servants, because basically he will gain servants or slave, but slave in a good sense, and one of them will be Hagar. And Hagar will produce Ishmael. That's why I sent you there, because to show you how ancient is the conflict. Now he will go back to the Holy Land as a wanderer, a nomad lifestyle, and so on. And Hagar will be beside him as a servant here, and Hagar will be used for a lapse in belief of Abraham. Sarah will say, "Go to Hagar, lay with her, produce a child, because we're too old to have a child," and so on. And she will be producing Ishmael. And Ishmael will become a problem. Okay? He will basically fathering the Arab nation, but we will see these things. What I'm saying right now, I am not saying that all the Palestinians or the Arab nation are problematic. This is not what I'm saying here. But you will see, as we develop the conflict, that the transfer of the Abrahamic covenant in the future, Abraham, it will be reconfirmed to who? Isaac. Then after Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, and the people of Israel. So the seed line and the transfer of the Abrahamic covenant, not the transfer, but the sustainability of the Abrahamic covenant, will be through the line of Abraham, not through the line of Ishmael. So I'm telling you right away that the Arab people are not the covenanted people of God. The Jews are. Okay? So this is, for me, scripturally speaking, a thing that can not be negotiated. So basically, that's what we will see as you go. The reason why I read the scriptures to you, it's to show you that did not start yesterday. This is not a new thing in the history of the Bible and within the decrees of God. We have a few scriptures to go through. Go to chapter 16 for a moment. Chapter 16. I will never ask you to go back. Basically, we will go always forward in the Bible. We have Sarai and Hagar. We're going to do chapter 16, basically 1 to 12. I'm going to read slowly. I'm going to skip a few things and so on. Come with me. Now Sarai, Abraham's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maid whose name was Hagar. We already know the story, how it came to pass. So Sarai said to Avram, Now behold, Jehovah has prevented me from bearing children. Please go into my maid. Perhaps I will obtain children through her. And Avram listened to the voice of Sarai. Should not, but he did. After Avram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Abraham's wife Sarai took Hagar the Egyptian, her maid, and gave her to her husband Avram as his wife. So there will be a sexual union. At that time it was accepted in the laws, ancient law, not under the law of Moses, but under the law of the patriarch in the country that they worked from. He went to Hagar, meaning sexual union, and she conceived, and when she saw that she conceived, her mistress was despised in her sight. Sarai said to Avram, May the wrong done me be upon you. This is not very nice. I gave my maid unto your arms, but she saw that she had conceived and was despised in her sight. May the Lord judge between you and me. But Abraham said to Sarai, Behold, she is in your power. So Sarai treated harshly Hagar, and she fled from her presence. Now this is a bit what I want here. The angel of Jehovah, which is the pre-incarnate Christ right now, found her by the spring of water, the wilderness, by the spring of the way to Shur. He said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from and where are you going? ? She said, I'm fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai. Then the angel of Jehovah said to her, Return to your mistress and submit yourself to her authority right now. Moreover, the angel of Jehovah said to her, I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will be too many to count. I just gave you the population of the people. Basically, they are countable, but when you see an expression, they will be too many to count, it means in the Hebrew text that they will be very, very dense, like a density of the clouds in the sky and so on. And when you see Iran and Iraq right now, Jordan and so on, you can see that the population in these places today are very dense. So there is a density of people which is based upon a promise of God to basically to Hagar here. Where was I? I will greatly multiply your descendants in verse 10 so that they will be too many to count. The angel of Jehovah said her further, Behold, you are with child, and you will bear a son, and you will call his name Ishmael. God hears. Okay? Because Jehovah has given heed to your affliction. Now, stop. Jehovah has given heed to your affliction. He will be a wild donkey of a man, wild ass of a man in the original, and his hand will be against everyone. You need to circle this 10 times what I write right now. Okay? He will be a wild donkey, untamable, a wanderer, plundering and so on, in the desert, worshipping the nature, being very happy with the land in which that animal would live, basically, which is a reference to the Arab nation. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him, Ishmael, and what he will produce. He will live to the east of his brothers. Now I'm going to take a time. I'm going to ask only Vicky to unmute and to tell me if you can see what I will show you. Right now, just a second. Share where I'm at here. Okay, this share. You tell me when it comes up, Vicky. You tell me when you see the picture that I will show you.
It's there.
It's there. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Just a second. I'm trying to move something here in order to be able to click. Look at this. Not this, not this, not this, not this. Look at this. I just read to you, and he will live to the east of all his brothers. On the left-hand side of the screen, you have Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Israel. You can see the Gulf of Aqaba a little bit lower. And then you go east. Look at this. Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia. It's written in the Bible, he will be east of his brother. And all these conflicts cannot get to the left, because to the left, it's the Mediterranean Sea. So they live on the east like a wild donkey, okay, untamable, against Israel, and everybody will be against him as well. Here, we have this. I have another picture to show you. Look at this. Left-hand side, West Bank, Israel, the blue Mediterranean, Jordan, and in Jordan you have the capital, Amman. 11.8 million people live there. Then you go a little bit more to the right, inland, you have Iran and Iraq also. Look, another picture. Look at this, Lebanon. There was conflict there before yesterday. Okay, Israel, Gaza Strip, and you also has the West Bank and so on. Jordan, millions of people. Iraq is what? 47.8, and Iran here packed with people, 92.9 people living on the right hand side of them here. And it was prophesied that the children of Ishmael, they believe in Abraham because Abraham fathered them. For them, they think that they are the covenanted people. They live east as early as in Genesis, the Genesis account written by Moses. It was prophesied that all this country will be populated constantly like a wild donkey of an ass of a man here, having conflict with the people of Israel. A very small country. So now at least you know the origin of these things. Let me see what's next on the slide. If I have something to say about this. No, I don't address the future of the conflict. I think I will be happy with the thing that I gave you right now. So stop sharing. I am back with you. Do you understand a little bit what I'm trying to convey? I said to you that this is a very ancient conflict that is absolutely not outside the control of God. And in a moment of time, in half an hour maybe, we will see together scriptures. What do we do with this, Francois? You cannot even go there right now. There is no flight. You cannot use the sea also. There is the tanker that are sank and so on. But I will come to a point this evening where I will ask you, how can we respond to it, not living in that place, being Christian and having a desire to know about these things? I will come back to this in a moment of time, because I don't want to be too long, but there is scriptures also. Come with me in Genesis chapter 27. I just want to show you something. 25, not 27, but 25. Come with me. If you don't go to the scriptures, don't feel guilty. Watch it again on YouTube. It's going to be posted. Genesis chapter 25, verses 27 to 34. Okay? This is the selling of the birthright. When the boy grew up, verse 27, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a peaceful man living in tents. Now Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for game, but Rebekah loved Jacob, through whom the Abrahamic covenant will be sustained. When Jacob had cooked stew, Esau came in the field and he was famished, but he had a house close to him where he could get a meal and so on. Esau said to Jacob, please let me have a swallow of that red stuff there, because I am famished. Therefore, his name was called Edom here, basically red Edom. But Jacob said, first, sell me your birthright. You can see that Jacob was interested to be served, to be used as a blessing. There will be deceitfulness here. Nevertheless, he has the right, he has the thirst to be used. Esau, behold, I am about to die. No, exaggeration. So of what use then is my birthright to me? Jacob said, "First swear to me," and he swore to him. Basically, Esau swore to Jacob and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentils too, and he ate and drank, rose and went on his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Once again, a thing ordained from God, despising his birthright. God saw the heart of Jacob, that he was not the firstborn, but a heart towards God to serve him, with a desire to be used by God. And that's basically not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons as to why the Abrahamic covenant will be sustained to Isaac and Jacob. He will, Jacob, receive a reconfirmation of the sustaining of the Abrahamic covenant through him, or the two, Isaac and Jacob, through them, not to Esau. Not to Esau, who will be also responsible for the Arab state. So the covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, and they love Abraham, the people of the Palestinian and the Arab state, but the covenant made with Israel are not sustained through them. And those who are standing in belief among the Arab people, they do understand this. They do understand that. Now, at this point, I would like to talk about the ongoingness of the nature of that conflict. What I've just did with you right now, it's to expose a little bit how old is that conflict. It's an old conflict. And God uses it good and bad. You should note what I say right now. Because often I explain to the people, now I'm raising my Bible to show you my Bible as a whole here. She's falling apart, doesn't matter too much. And I ask the people that I teach different classes sometimes, what would be the unifying theme of the whole 66 books, the library that we have in the Bible? The unifying theme, often people say salvation. Yes, but it's not the primary theme, because some are not saved. So if you want to have the peace with everything that we see on CNN, I name CNN, the body of news that you watch on TV or radio or online, it doesn't matter to me. The unifying theme of the scriptures is the glorification of God. Even in something that appears to us as being very negative, killing of infants in any way possible, quantity that I don't need to describe, the one that receives the glory at the end product is Jehovah God. YHVH, the Tetragrammaton. The 4 Hebrew letters that comprises the name of God, Jehovah. He is the one, the recipient of glory, and whatever happens, the flood account, the killing of the babies in the time of Herod the Great, in the beginning of Jesus Christ. Everything is for the main theme, which is the glorification of God. He has a permissive will, a desirative will, a decretive will. When he decrees something that cannot change, so be it. He does whatever he wants for the good of his people. He sustains us by divine grace, a salvation that we can never lose. So who's getting the glory? Me, because I kept my salvation together? Negative. It's negative. So he receives the glory, and once we stop and ponder this, we don't sweat the flood that much anymore. Oh, he allowed that to happen. There was only one family. We forget the but Noah. But God remembered Noah. We cannot say, because everybody could have been wiped out. But what does it say in Genesis? The wickedness of man is before me. Everybody is sinful and wicked. Flood. But Noah found favor. That's the love of God as well as the justice, side by side, outworking in the desire of God. The ongoingness of the conflict, would you come with me for a quick moment? Ongoing. The book of Numbers. In the Pentateuch, 5 books of Moses. Go to the book of Numbers, chapter 20. And then we will get a little bit more closer to home. Book of Numbers, chapter 20 for a moment. Place your finger on verse 14 to 21. Some comer came a bit later. I saw you. I basically clicked that you may join in, but I did not greet you, so consider yourself being greeted right now. Numbers chapter 20, verses 14 to 21. Just to show you an example as being an ongoing thing here. I'm not going to walk you through the whole Bible. Numbers chapter 20, verse 14. From Kadesh, Moses then sent messenger to the king of Edom, Arab state. Thus your brother Israel, because they're brother. It's about it. The birth of Ishmael and Jacob and so on. Thus your brother Israel has said, you know all the hardship that has befallen us, coming out from Egypt. That our fathers went down to Egypt, and we stayed in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians treated us and our fathers badly. But when we cry out to Jehovah, he heard our voice and sent the angel and brought us out from Egypt. Now behold, on the email it says we are in Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your land. So that would be a very nice shortcut for them. Please let us pass through your land. We will not pass through your field or through the vineyard. We will not even drink water from a well. We will go along the king's highway. I don't have time to elaborate on this. Not turning to the right or left until we pass through your territory. Look at the answer of Edom and the king of Edom. Edom, however, said to him, Moses, you will not pass through us, or I will come out with the sword against you. It makes me think about what was the passage in Genesis chapter 12 and 16. He will be like a wild donkey of a man, and no. You will not pass through us, or I will come out with the sword against you. Again the sons of Israel said to him, yeah, but we will go up by the highway, and if I and my livestock do drink any of your water, then I will pay its price. Come on, let me go to your land. Let me only pass through on feet, nothing else. But he said, verse 20, you shall not pass through. And Edom came out against him with a heavy force and with a strong hand. And until verse 34, not verse 21 here, thus Edom refused to allow Israel to pass through his territory, so Israel turned away from him. Now they set up from Kadesh and so on. What's the purpose? Throughout history, in the ancient time, in the time of Moses, the conflict was already there. You already had the reaction around all these territories you will not pass through. It's anti-Semitism. Do you know that term? Anti-Semitism means an animosity towards the Jews. And nowadays, it's increasing in the world. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. And even more shockingly for you, there is more and more anti-Semitism in our churches nowadays over the planet. Replacement theology. The lack of respect for the Jewish people, pro-Palestinianism. That's why at the beginning of the session, Sylvie, keep me accountable, my sister. She's there. Don't say yes, I know you heard me. Was there something in your bulletin last Sunday concerning Purim? No. Will there be something this coming Sunday alluding one sentence that it was Purim last week? Maybe a minority will say yes, but the majority right now, I think you have to say no. Don't move your head. I don't want to know. We have forgotten our first love. I will come back to this later. Psalm 83. Let's go to Psalm 83 for a moment. I'm done with the Old Testament in a moment of time. Come with me, Psalm. I'm going to the Psalm. Psalm 83, it's a prayer concerning anti-Semitism. The book of Psalm 83. I lost my Psalm. Where are they? Okay, got them. They have been brought back. Psalm 83. Just want to show you something. It's a prayer of Asaph, and it's a very prayer concerning the surrounding Arab nation and concerning anti-Semitic action and so on. Not going to read the whole shebang. It's too long. I'm just going to read quick until 6 and 7. Come. O God, do not remain quiet. Don't be silent. And O God, don't be still. For behold, your enemies make an uproar. Think about the conflict right now. Don't think about Psalm. Just close your eyes. Think about what you're watching on the news right now. And those who hate you have exalted themselves. They make shrewd plans against your people, conspire together against your treasured ones. They have said, come, let us wipe them out as a nation. Iraq, Iran, their desire is to wipe out the Jews completely, but they did not read how to do it, because how to do it is written in the book of Jeremiah. They should have read Jeremiah to begin with. That the name of Israel be remembered no more. They have conspired together with one mind against you. They have made a covenant against you. The tent of Edom, circle Edom, southern Jordan. The Ishmaelite, father of Abraham, Ishmael, the Ishmaelite. Moab, central Jordan. The Agrites, Egypt. Gebal, Lebanon. Ammon, north Jordan. And Amalek. Philistia, Gaza Strip, with the inhabitants of Tyre, Lebanon. I'm giving you the corresponding place right now. Assyria has joined with them. Basically, Assyria, Iraq. It's located there in the north. They have become a help to the children of Lot, and so on and so forth. Psalm 83, it's conspicuous about what did happen in the last 5 days. Yeah, these are the best news. I mean news channel. Because these news don't lie. These news here that you have in Psalm, that you have in Genesis, that you have in Exodus, that you have in the book of Numbers, Balaam and Balak curse the Jews. He get on his cell phone, Balak. He gave a call to Balaam. I recognize that everything that you curse will end up being cursed, and everything that you bless will end up being blessed. And he went on the mountain and he saw a multitude of people coming out of Egypt. And he said to Balaam, curse them. Balaam said, I'm not going to curse what God has not cursed and so on. But Balaam was a lover of money. He was disciplined by a donkey. Because he was only making cash. That was his purpose and so on. But he never ended up cursing the Jewish people. Now, I come to something else. Just started that. You don't need your Bible for this. Let's get closer to us. I'm going to make a snapshot. If you have time to note, you note. If you don't have time, it's no big deal, beloved. It's about the continuity of the ongoing nature of the conflict here. I continue with this, but closer to home. 4 points. The War of Independence. The War of Independence of Israel in 1948-1949. Okay? There will be May 14th this year. I fail, I don't have my agenda open right now. But on May 14th, that's the celebration of the independence of Israel that took place under Ben Gurion, the name of the airport in Israel. Okay? The War of Independence. It was in the midst of an Israeli-Arab war. It came after a couple days after the war and so on. A fellow named Amin el-Husseini openly declared that the purpose was to destroy the entire Jewish community and driving them into the sea, meaning the Mediterranean Sea. Summary, Israel was victorious. They were victorious by shrewd plan, but primarily, why were they victorious? Because they are the covenant people of God, they are the wife of Jehovah, and even if they are as a nation in unbelief right now, they are still protected under the Abrahamic covenant, because the Abrahamic covenant is not a conditional covenant. It does not depend on the performance of the nation. You look at the millions, they are over billions. Only 10.8 in Israel. They managed to win. Why? Don't ask that to Benjamin Netanyahu, our intelligence, the protective dome, blah, blah, blah. I'm not diminishing Benjamin. I like the man to a sense. But they don't place their faith in the right object as we speak now. It will come only in the future. Am I too loud for you? Good. Diminish your volume. The Sinai campaign in 1956, I was born in 1960, it's closer to me. Some of you were young at that time. Under Gamal al-Nasser, the Egyptian. What was it in the summary? I cannot give you all the details, that would be tedious. What was the summary? It was qualified as a work of art. The way that they managed the battle with allies country like France and other people around. It was recognized that the way they did war in the Sinai campaign here was a work of art, military speaking. But who's above this? Who's driving the tank? Who told them to go to the left or to the right? Who is overintended above this? The 6-Day War, 1967, I was 7 years of age. I was born in 1960. The summary was a vindication. With a great example of leadership ability, David style, dying on the battlefield. Officers going in the front also, not only the soldiers, but also there was an Arab Summit conference at that time on the 6-Day War. My mentor in the Jewish frame of reference, the one who brought me up with a Jewish frame theology, witnessed that while he was at the university. There was an Arab Summit conference at Khartoum at that point, September 1st, 1967. And there was a contract, a resolution of 3 no's. No, 3 no's. What were the 3 no's after the 6-Day War? No negotiation or whatsoever, a promise never to negotiate with Israel. A wild donkey. Number 2, no recognition of the Israeli state, no recognition of the nation of Israel. And the no, do you know what the third one is? Is highlighted in my note. No peace with Israel. So you're going to ask me why the conflict? First of all, let's look at the scriptures, and now we look at history. Beloved, listen closely. Politely I ask. There will be no peace in Israel ever until the second coming of the Messiah to establish the Messianic kingdom on earth. All peace that will be decreed, specifically the peace that will be promised by Mr. the Antichrist, will simply be a false peace. There will be no real peace on this planet, specifically in the Middle East, until the Messiah comes back to reign as a king for 1,000 years. I don't think that you will hear that on Sunday. I'm not angry. Sylvie, keep me check. I get excited about these things. The last one, Yom Kippur. Is there a better day to attack Israel? Yom Kippur is the Day of Atonement. You don't eat on that day. You fast and you don't touch a crate of anything. You don't do any work. You don't even wear shoes. You need to walk with only your socks or barefoot in Israel to feel the ruggedness of the ground and all the ground, the rocks in the street and so on, because it's a day of affliction for them. In 1973, the Arab nation attacked on Yom Kippur. They caught them by surprise because they fast and they don't work and they cannot take armament at that time. It's wicked. A nation in prayer rushed to their units in the army during the Yom Kippur, changing prayer shawl, because you know that they pray with a shawl with their hand and so on. A shawl like this at the wall, like these guys right here. They all do have a prayer shawl, these guys. That's the Hasidim. Okay? At Yom Kippur, they exchanged this to put their belt and their gun on their belt and so on in order to defend themselves. Fighting for what? For their existence. Yes, God used means to fight for their existence, and it's legit to defend yourself. That's why they defend themselves. They have the right to do so under this system edited by Satan, the military aspect of all the countries of the world. And the prince of this world, you know the name of that person. I don't need to mention it today. You know who is the prince of this world. But the prince of this world will not be free to act, military speaking, during the 1,000-year of reign of Christ, because there will be no war at that time. They were fighting for their existence. However, some for unbelievers, not knowing that their existence forever is assured. Why? Abrahamic covenant. We'll show you in a moment the recipe to kill them. Nobody's listening to the scriptures because the Bible describes how to get rid of them. Very specifically. Summary: the Arab goal was to prevent the granting of any form of legitimacy to the Middle East, May 48, where they became a state. They say it's completely illegit, and that's the summary of it. The land was promised to Abraham's seed by divine grant, not to Esau or to Ishmael. Don't think I hate these guys. Don't think that. I don't do that. How are you doing? Good. Where was the church? I'm not asking you where was the church in the Numbers. There was no church at that time. I'm not asking you where was the church in the time of Judges, which I don't even touch. Where was the church in the time of 1 Samuel, which the Wednesday night that we study, and where conflict after conflict at that time against the same kind of people. And the Gentiles nation also. The Amalekites, the Philistines, and so on and so forth. The Canaanites. Where was the church at that time? Nowhere to be seen. However, for everything that I told you, number one, the impotence, the Sinai campaign, this 6-day war, there was a church there. I have no comments to make. Because there is always a cluster of church, a minority that obeys and that prays for the peace of Israel. Psalm 120, Psalm 122.6. There is always a cluster of the church, not the majority, not the state church. Roman Catholicism have been harsh concerning the Jews. In all church states such as Roman Catholicism, Anglicanism, Lutheranism, here, their church state, they are led by the government. Whatever the government says, they follow. If the government is anti-Semitic, they become such. Talking about the genuine believer, no more comments. Where was God? Well, many conflicts in Bible history and in modern history until now. Now, March 4th, 2026, involved with Israel. God will always, by his nature and attributes, by means of the Abrahamic covenant, as if not enough, also ramification of the Abrahamic covenant is called the land covenant. One day, they will own the land because the land is to Israel by divine grant. Today, if you want to embrace the two-state solution, you can go ahead, do it. I don't believe in it. It might come to pass. It doesn't matter. it will not last because it's been given to Israel by divine status, decree, and grant. The Davidic covenant, that David will never lack a seed to sit on the throne. And the Davidic covenant will culminate. The highest peak of the Abrahamic covenant is yet to come in the person of the Messianic King who will reign for 1,000 years from Jerusalem on this planet. And you will see him. That's the promise of the Davidic. The new covenant, with all the aspect of blessing, they will all know me, says Jehovah of hosts. No Jews will not be saved in the 1,000-year reign. In the 1,000-year reign, they will no longer have Jewish evangelism at that point. Only Gentile evangelism. They will all know me, says Jehovah of hosts. In Jeremiah. Maybe something new for you. The new covenant. The Abrahamic covenant and so on. God will protect his wife. God has a wife. Israel is the wife of Jehovah by covenant. Israel is the wife of Jehovah by covenant. And the book that shows this, and many faces on this screen right now have studied this book verse by verse with me in the last 5 years or maybe 10 years. It's the book of Deuteronomy. Do you know what Moses did with Deuteronomy? He sat down on his laptop and he took Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, not Genesis, but Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and he rearranged Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers into an ancient marriage contract where in Deuteronomy, Israel became the wife of Jehovah. As we speak now, the nation as a whole, the box, okay, in the box I have the nation as a whole. Within the box you have a smaller box. The nation as a whole right now is in a state of divorce. Never read Hosea? Read Hosea, it's one of the minor. She's in the state of divorce. But here, there is the doctrine of the remnant of Israel. Those who have become messianic. Basically, they always belong to somewhat messianic congregation. As the people, the nation of Israel, that we are asked to provoke to jealousy. I'll come back to that in a few minutes. The nation is in a state of divorce. But there is a remnant that believe. My wife is part of it. And all the Jews that believe. If you are a Jewish on the screen right now, if I have one Jew, do you know what you're doing by believing in the Messiah as your personal Savior? You keep the whole nation alive. The rabbi will say to you, because the Jewish are becoming messianic, we will lose our nation, we will lose our Jewish nationality. The perfect opposite is the truth. Because of the remnant of Israel. Because of the remnant of Israel today, they keep the nation alive. Isaiah, unless the Lord of Sabaoth has left us a remnant, we would have been like Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm paraphrasing right now. Yes, where's the glory going right now? Look at the conflict. The Arab people on the east that you've seen the map, they promised to wipe them out. That's their goal, period. Period. This is their goal. They said it. We will wipe them out. Give it a try for fun. Give it a try for fun. God will allow chastisement possible to well them out. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 9 on the quote that I said, unless he left us a remnant, we would have been like Sodom and Gomorrah. Closer to home. I'm not opening for question right now. Give me another 15. What are we? How are we doing as a church here? I'm going to use the expression universal church because I don't want to pick on any local, by respect. This is where I need your prayer right now. So, Father, I'm not
do it with love.
Yeah, I'm not the wisest person on the planet. I have people in the screen that are endowed with the gift of wisdom and knowledge. I don't have them. I have something else, but not these guys. Not these gifts. What are we? Can you give me an answer? What are we? What are we, the church? I'm not going to put you on the spot. We are the bride of Christ, not the wife of Jehovah. So it's a beautiful status. And my wife, Jewish believer, they have both. They're the wife of Jehovah, and they're also the bride of the bride of the church. They have both status, not us as Gentiles here. Do you happen to know, if I ask you a question, biblical question, what's the purpose of Gentile salvation during the church age? Because they rejected the Messiah, the unforgivable sin, it's a national sin, and then he had to die, and he died. It doesn't matter who put him to death. Both the Jews and the Gentile. The Jews, they partake in their stuff. Who killed Jesus? Not the Jews. It's the Roman. So it's completely not a discussion as to who killed Christ. Christ brought about his death by himself. He used different means to bring it to pass, but he had to die based upon the Old Testament, and he did die. And both the Jewish people were involved, and both the Gentiles and the Jews were involved also. But have you ever asked yourself, how come the salvation has come to the Gentiles, biblically speaking? Two things. There is two answers to that. Come with me in Acts chapter 15 for a moment. Come with me. Acts chapter 15. Don't think I'm long. I'm just going to go through this and then we finish. Acts chapter 15 for a quick moment. This is the Council of Jerusalem. 1 to 14, it's a different story. Now they have a problem because the Jews wanted the Gentiles to be circumcised under the law, and Paul went to the Jerusalem Council. James was part of it, and so on. And then we have the one of the reason why salvation has come to the Gentiles. Chapter 15, verse 13. That's the Jerusalem Council. Verse 13. After they had stopped speaking, James, the author of the book of James, answers, saying, "Brothers, listen to me. Simeon, which is Peter, has related how God first concerned himself about taking from among the Gentiles a people for his name." That's the first purpose of Gentile salvation. That God has chosen from among the Gentiles, François Blouin, whatever your name is right now, and I'm not going to name you because I will forget many of you, a people to glorify his name. Not a good question what kind of job we're doing on this. Doesn't matter. This is one of the purpose of Gentile salvation written in the text. The second purpose, which is my favorite, of course, is in the book of Romans. Can you go back in your scriptures? Go to the book of Romans. No, not go back. Go forward. Right after Acts, it's Romans. You go to Romans chapter 11. Romans chapter 11, verses 11 to 14. The first reason was great. Why have you chosen? And you don't have the choice. You don't have the choice at all. Because you have been predestined to live during the church age. You cannot be an Old Testament saint, and you will not go through the great tribulation, so you will never be a tribulational saint also. So what's left for me for choice? I was chosen at the age of 33. I became a Christian. I was never